Our roadmap begins with that NVIDIA correction, eyeing the bounce after the tough three-day slide. B of A adds it to best of breed today. The EU's new tech target accusing Microsoft of breaking some antitrust rules. And we're watching the plane makers, Airbus cutting targets, and Boeing reportedly in talks to buy back Spirit, mostly with stock. Let's begin, though, with NVIDIA looking to rebound after sliding into correction territory. Jim, even though since the close on the 14th, S&P's up a touch.
Yes, but look, I don't like rallies that start in pre-opening. And the reason I don't is because then anybody who's in it yesterday who bought it, say, anyway, 118 there was a lot of volume, 119 a lot of volume, there was some volume, 117 after the close. Those people are going to flip. They're going to hit. They're going to hit. They're going to hit. That's going to make other sellers come in. What you really want to see is you want to see it open down and then rally. And this takes away the opportunity. So the people are not, I think, going to be able to say, let's make a stand here, unless Micron, they have Micron. They don't have Micron because they're not going to report till tomorrow. So I look at the situation and I say, wait. And look, I'm a own it, don't trade it. But I always want to, apropos of our Thursday investing club meeting, I never want people to get a bad entry point. And I don't think up 3 is the right entry point.
You don't think we're there yet?
No, we haven't had any. We need Sanjay Mehrotra to say, look, the business is accelerating. He's Micron's CEO. The business, the complex of data center. Right now, we don't have any new data points that make me feel like, you know what? There's someone who upgraded again. I mean, it's all very lame. The defenses are lame because it's had such a big run. So I say, let's see if this early morning rally can hold. But my sense is that there'll be people who are saying, oh, thank heavens. I thought I'd never see this price again. And those are the people that you're most afraid of as your fellow shareholders, your enemy here. They're your enemy.
That's why we turn to you, Jim, for your gut, in a sense. That said, yesterday, even with its decline, you had 9 of 11 sectors green, 70% of S&P components green. Does that continue, that rotation?
I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how much of a share donation can these big companies make. Microsoft, but Microsoft wasn't down that much. Apple, that ain't donating any share. That's still accumulating money. Amazon did roll over. Alphabet had a really good session. There's not enough money in those stocks when they shed their gains that can go to the rest of the market and sustain it. You need to see the big 7-year auction on Thursday. I care more about that, $44 billion, than I care about what these stocks are doing. There's not enough money to go around. There's just not. There's a lot of safe money at 5. To get people to come in and buy something, you need FedEx today to say they see an acceleration. Or you need to see, there's a lot of chatter about the auto companies, maybe they have to cut prices. You need to see somebody, some Fed official say, look, you know what, we're looking at the data, and maybe we see some softness. We got to see what the personal consumption is going to be on Friday. Yep. Instead, we have a pop-off, Bowman. You know how I feel about these people. They are being grilled and grilled and grilled. And it's almost like when I interview a CEO and they come over and over again and say, look, it's my quiet period, I can't tell you. It's my quiet period, I can't tell you. And finally say, okay, whatever you say. That was like, whatever you say, yes, if it gets hot, we will raise. And then that gets to be the quote of the day. Oh, it's going to get hot, and they'll raise. So we need to see Fed shut up or Fed say, hey, listen, it's okay. Then we need to see some sector of the economy that's indicating that it's doing a little better. Before we just say, you know what, it's time to buy NVIDIA. It's time to buy the rest of the market.
We'll pay attention to FedEx tonight. As for...
Yeah, that'll be important.
Yep.
As I've been saying recently, I would not be surprised to see some softening in NVIDIA's price and some chop in the price action lasting into mid to late July. Of course, I don't know what the future holds, and I could be completely wrong. That being said, NVIDIA seems to move in cycles. There are cycles of peak euphoria when the entire market is watching NVIDIA like a hawk, and then there are portions of the cycle where the market, at least for a brief moment, takes its focus off of NVIDIA to look around at the rest of the market. I think the recent pullback in NVIDIA is a combination of multiple factors. First, we've had the overall market trading near all-time highs. Second, we had NVIDIA very overbought, and the stock was ripe for a pullback at any moment. Third, NVIDIA moves in cycles, as I mentioned, and the public's attention, at least for now, has started shifting to other areas of the market. And fourth, I also believe we are seeing some rotation by large firms and fund managers. And I think the price action we saw yesterday is a testament to that. NVIDIA was red while many other areas of the market, including the Russell 2000, were green. So I think we're seeing a lot of firms rebalance their holdings and perhaps rotate into some smaller and mid-cap names in anticipation of a potential Fed rate cut. Perhaps they are trimming some of their NVIDIA profits since the stock has been trading near all-time highs, and they are likely moving some of that capital to other opportunities in the market that haven't been getting as much attention as NVIDIA has been recently. As I've been saying about NVIDIA recently, I would not be surprised to see some chop lasting into mid to late July. Once we enter August, I expect there to be pre-anticipatory running in NVIDIA leading up to the company's next earnings report. Of course, we have to pay attention to the overall market because if the market pulls back, then it will likely pull NVIDIA down with it, or at the very least weigh down on NVIDIA. That being said, if NVIDIA reports great earnings and strong forward-looking guidance over the next couple quarters, then I think the stock still has room to run. It does concern me to see company insiders, including President and CEO Jensen Huang, selling so much recently. The last time Jensen sold large quantities of shares like this was back in September of 2023. And who knows, perhaps they just want to lock in some gains since NVIDIA has been trading near all-time highs recently. NVIDIA should start to realize some revenue from Blackwell, the company's latest generation of chips, before the end of the year, so that is good news for NVIDIA. Personally, I think NVIDIA has a lot of potential over the next 3 to 5 years if they continue delivering strong earnings and, equally important, strong forward-looking guidance. I am a bit cautious when it comes to the outlook on NVIDIA beyond 5 years, though. The analogy I've given in the past to explain this is drawing parallels between NVIDIA and iPhone upgrade cycles. Think back to when the first 10 or so iterations of the iPhone launched. Back then, there was a lot of demand and enthusiasm around each new release because there were substantial improvements from one generation to the next. More recently, however, we go from the iPhone 13 to the iPhone 14, and let's be real, there's not that much of a difference between the newer model and the model that preceded it. I think video resolution is another great example of this phenomena. We go from 480p to 720p, and there is a noticeable massive improvement. Then we go to 1080p, then to 4K, and again, both times there are distinct improvements. But now we're at the point where 4K is so common and many consumers are looking at 8K displays on the horizon and thinking to themselves, do I really need 8K? 4K is probably good enough for most displays. By means of analogy, that is my long-term concern when it comes to NVIDIA. Right now, the largest corporations in the world are practically waiting at NVIDIA's doorstep for the latest release of their products. And I think this is likely to continue for some time, especially so considering that NVIDIA has shortened the upgrade cycle from 2 years to 1 year. However, looking out long-term, I am concerned that demand may eventually soften if we eventually get to the point where NVIDIA's customers question if they really need the latest products. This seems to be a common trend with new technology. So again, that is my long-term concern when it comes to NVIDIA, especially so because the company has shortened its upgrade cycle. But the shortening of the upgrade cycle is likely very good news for NVIDIA for the first 3 to 5 years. After that, I'm less sure. Remember that NVIDIA's annual meeting of stockholders is scheduled for Wednesday, June 26th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I would be surprised if NVIDIA made any notable announcements at the meeting. It is possible, but companies typically do not announce big news at annual stockholder meetings. And following the stockholders meeting, I am not aware of any other events prior to NVIDIA's next earnings release, which will likely be sometime in mid to late August. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.